How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about LCID, Lucid Group, which ended up crushing it in the market today. And due to the fact of the market conditions, I was like, whoa. Here we go. Lucid is finally getting the recognition it deserves. I'm going to talk about it further in this video. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you are a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing that we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We want to take a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. I gave you guys levels that we were looking out for, and you were able to use it as a roadmap if you're looking to trade this play. And like I said before, I do believe in the long-term prospects. I want to make sure I'm being very clear here. And then we're going to be taking a look going on Fintel, the recent institutional ownership, and as well as the short interest information. We want to see our shorts still heavily vested inside of this play. And then on top of that, we want to see if there have been any recent institutional filings. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. While Lucid was ripping it today inside of the market, we want to see, were there any large scale orders? If there was, then we know institutions are loading up on shares. We're going to figure that out. And then when all of that is done, we'll be jumping into the final thoughts, and I'll give you guys some more details as well. So let's get to it. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $24.07, being up 4.83% on the day. On the low, it tested $21.66, and then on the high, testing $24.22. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 67.404 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 35.739 million shares. So we almost doubled the amount of volume we normally get on average. That's great to see, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some strength in the stock price. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a 1-year daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below, it is at 62.92. So we are in the overbought territory. And as you can see clearly, we have been on quite the run. When we take a look at our moving averages, we have strength above the 21-day EMA. We also have strength above the 200-day and as well as a 50-day. So when I was making the video for yesterday and when I put it out, I was saying, hey, I would love to see Lucid hold down the 200-day at $22.38. And here we are, ended up closing the day at 24 bucks. So taking this into consideration, if this move decides to continue, then we can look forward to seeing a strong move, and we're going to easily be getting here to around the mid 24 range. Over here, we could see some resistance, but of course, if we end up having continued buying pressure into the stock, then I'm going to be looking forward to that move to 25. And this is going to be a psychological area. There's going to be a lot of profit taking here. Also, many people who have been holding shares for quite some time are probably going to be looking to sell. But for the most part, one thing that I can see, if the volume does continue, then we can look forward to actually getting past this particular area as far as the $25 is concerned. If it does decide to pull back, I'm going to stay like what I was saying before previously. I want us to see us hold up the 200-day. Right now, it's at $22.45. Again, that's just the worst case scenario, just in case there's some profit taking and so on, because Lucid has been running up for quite a bit. But for the most part, I do like what I'm seeing, because today inside of the markets was very choppy, and Lucid was one of the few stocks on my list that was actually green and crushing it on the day. So I can't wait to see what happens for tomorrow and it's for the rest of the week. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we can see here for September 20th, the recent filing coming from Nationwide Mutual Funds, and they ended up closing their position, as as you can see, 0 shares and also 0 value, of course. Now, when we take a look at the short interest information, scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 650,000, updated 8 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 1.27%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 16th, it was 38.16, and in the close for the 17th, it is at 41.67. So that's taking into consideration Friday. So as far as when the numbers come out later on in the evening, you guys can let me know inside the comment section. I won't be surprised if it's a lot higher than the number that we currently saw on the Friday. And the reason being is the more Lucid goes on this run and it sees a lot of momentum, shorts are going to start piling into this play because they're looking at it like, hey, this stock price needs to come down. And when we take a look at the sector overall, as far as for EVs, all of those stocks have pulled back. So a lot of shorts are saying, hey, the pullback is inevitable. There's going to be some selling. There's going to be some profit taking. So that's why they're inside of this play. So that's just one thing you want to be aware of. And it does contribute to the overall volatility that you're going to be seeing in the stock. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow, it was 334. And then on the outflow, it was 332. So of course it was an inflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown, we had 0 on the large, 237 on the medium, and we also had 96.94 on the small. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 3.17, and when we take a look at the medium, it was 226, and then on the small, it was 103. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, and it ended up being an outflow day because we can see clearly the only large we saw was 3.17, but we did have a surplus on the medium side, which definitely ended up being the difference maker when we see that we had an inflow day overall in general. So I know what you're saying. So institutions were selling out of their positions by taking a look at the large scale orders, but you have to know there is a lot of interest on the medium side. Institutions could be taking part in this as well as retail traders that are going in with bigger positions. So keeping all of this in mind, this momentum can continue, but one thing we could see, there is some profit taking on the institutional side, and we're also seeing it on the retail side when we were taking a look at the small scale orders. So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, it was great to see the run that it had today, especially since the markets were very choppy. A lot of stocks pulled back. Even if we take a look at the EV sector overall in general, like I was saying, Lucid was the only stock that was green. I will be putting up a watch list somewhere on the screen so you guys can see this for yourself. Also, inside of the Discord, I did put in a play in regards to a put option. And I know I'm going to get that, like, Dre, why would you talk about buying puts on Lucid, especially like a day for today? Well, to let you guys know, when I put that alert out, I was able to pick it up at around $85, and then I ended up selling it at $100, just making over 17% profit on my contracts. But one thing that I was looking for, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was looking for it to run up a little bit more and then show me a sign of a clear pullback. But that was not happening whatsoever, so I didn't bother going in with another put position. I'm like, you know what? Let me just take this 17% and go my way and then enjoy this run up. Because also you guys are aware of the fact that I do have some shares that I loaded up on when it was in the $16 range. I have not sold that position whatsoever, so I know I'm going to get those questions like, hey, like, what are your plans? Like, what do you try to tell people? Well, you know what? That's my strategy. I want to make money off of the intraday moves, and I also want to take advantage of the swing opportunity, and I already talked about my strategy in the previous video as well. So for anyone who was holding shares of Lucid for the long term, I'm with you on that one. I believe in the long-term prospects, but I just want to make some profits along the way as well. There's nothing wrong with that. But one thing you also want to be clear about, there's a lot of things that Lucid needs to execute on and when it comes to overall operations, and I feel like they're in a very great space right now to actually do that and also give Tesla some good competition. So with all of that said, one thing I want you guys to be clear about when we went on Fintel, yes, we can see recent filings from institutions. We had a closed position, but I feel, you know what, that doesn't really matter. But when we take a look at the short interest information, we can see it still continues to have short squeeze potential. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to enjoy this run. Also, when I was talking about in my previous video, I wanted us to use the 200-day as support just in case we did pull back, but we ended up finishing at $24.07 sense. And then I took a look at after hours, the momentum just continues. So I just want to make sure, as far as for the price action is concerned, you're keeping an eye on it if you have short-term or medium goals, and just making sure that you protect your profits. Like I said, when I told you guys to load up on shares and wait for that dip, it was around 16 bucks. So you are up a lot right now. So don't ask me like, well, Dre, is this the time to take profits? That is not my job to actually tell you when to take profits. That's going to come down to you, but I just know for myself, I'm going to be riding this run. And as soon as we start witnessing, or it looks like we're going to have a sharp pullback, I'm going to take some profits, but I'm still going to be holding on to my shares because I do believe in the long-term prospects. All right. And that's why I also emphasize, because I know sometimes you guys might get confused about this. I have my account that I use for trading, and then I also have my account that I go with long-term positions. So that's why I'm able to do what I do and what I talk about inside my videos. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll be talking real soon.